Disclaimer, the topics covered in this video may be slightly disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised. Noli is one of the most popular and oldest myths on Roblox. Noli has been a part of Roblox ever since 2007, when he bought a crown called the Void Star, which became his signature item. He didn't last long though, as his account was terminated for unknown reasons. Noli's termination led to his account showing a lot of question marks when players tried to find him. This sparked a forum post questioning the reasons for these question marks and his termination, but two official Roblox moderators denied any suspicious claims and closed off the forum. This forum made the mystery of Noli more popular, as people wanted to know what was so special about him that two Roblox moderators would take the time to debunk any claims made about him. At this point, there are various interpretations of Noli. This is because all of his accounts and anything about him are terminated. The only remaining evidence of Noli's existence is a game he created titled The Tempest. This game puts the player inside of a black temple, and staying inside the game for too long will cause a message to pop up saying, "You have angered Noli and you made Noli sad." This will then cause the temple to fall apart and the sky will turn black. Alternatively, the player can also go to a black NPC called ASPX and touch a red spike in front of him, though touching it will instantly kill the player. There is also a teleporter behind the temple, and it will teleport them to reverse ASPX, who will demand the player to leave. There are also 5 floating islands the player can explore. One of the most popular interpretations of Noli is by Kazdom. This interpretation says the Void Star allowed Noli to create his own temple and corrupt any games he was in. Due to his actions, he was terminated and lost the Void Star. He tried to come back and regain his Void Star, but he was terminated because he would terrorize Roblox players and moderators. After a year, Noli would come back, just to take a much more peaceful approach, not causing any chaos but instead starting his own cult. This cult was called the Void Cult. Noli would then go on to disappear again, which caused more cults to appear and cause chaos in the community. The Void Cult blamed the myth community for making Noli disappear, and now the cult has an extreme hatred for the myth community. Other interpretations of Noli are also seen in games like Pressure and Forsaken. Currently, however, Noli still remains a giant mystery, and there will likely never be a solid explanation. Despite this, Noli remains one of the most iconic myths on Roblox. Real quick, if you like straight to the point content all around Roblox in bite-sized explanations, make sure you subscribe to the channel as we cover topics just like this every so often. Mulberries is a classic but also popular Roblox myth. Mostly recognized because of his game The RR Bar, as well as his group collaboration, Mulberries is one of the most popular myths of all time, with 13.8 million combined place visits. The RR Bar gained traction for its uncanniness and its old 1940s American style feel. The game was uncanny because all the NPCs would stare and follow the player with their heads. The actual story of the myth starts with a 5-year-old Mulberries, who was living on the street because he didn't have any parents. Then, Randy Stoneley, the co-owner of a bar, saw Mulberries and took him in to live in the bar. Randy and his stepbrother Roran Stoneley inherited the bar in 1954 after their father passed away, and they've been looking after the bar ever since, even decades later when they are both old. The bar the players see now takes place in 2013, and it has the name RR Bar because it is 2 different bars and each brother has their own bar. That is a lot of bars. The basement bar is owned by Roran, while the upstairs bar is owned by Randy. The brothers are now always in competition with each other, and it has torn apart the relationship and they now see each other as rivals. Roran also didn't approve of Randy letting Mulberries live in the bar. The bar has a hidden bunker that holds many past things about the brothers and Mulberries. Upon entering the bar, the player will see a man holding alcohol, and there will be 3 cards around him. There is also a stage with a man holding a guitar, and behind the curtains is a lever to open a secret door. And that's where Roran's basement bar is. Once they get to Roran's basement, there will be a hallway leading to a door, and the code is on the 3 cards seen earlier. Opening the door leads to Roran's bunker with interactable notes, a photo of the brothers, and a gun on the table. The bar has a lot of references to different myths. The reference to Cigna is found inside Randy's bar upon clicking a Coke, putting it in the Coke machine, and revealing a hidden room. Inside the room is Cigna's guitar and a painting of Funny Comedians 1, a now retired myth. There's also a reference to G0Z The Clown. There's a smaller store to the left of the bar, and inside that store are 2 clown heads. And back inside Randy's portion of the bar, there's a storage room with another 4 clown heads. On the roof of the bar is one last clown head. After clicking the heads, a secret hatch will open in the store and reveal a ritual with the G0Z cult symbol. The Smiles family is one of the most popular myths on Roblox. The group has 300,000 members, and the combined total visits is 14.7 million. The Smiles family is different from other myths, as a lot of other myths are either never able to finish the story, don't actually have a full story at all, or end abruptly overall due to outside circumstances. However, the Smiles family has a full story and a complete ending. The Smiles family didn't really gain traction until February 15, 2019, when a YouTuber by the name Sam is Twisted made videos covering the myth. In August of that same year, the main game was remade to be more polished, and by this time it had 300,000 visits. Flamingo noticed the game and made a video on it, giving the Smiles family a massive boost in popularity. Flamingo would then go on to make a whole series on the entire game, playing the role as one of the main investigators in the story. The game was also covered by other YouTubers like Laughability and Dino Nuggets. The story begins in 1994 about Robert Smiles, the father of the family, who lost one of his sons and his wife in a car crash. The remaining family members live on Hallam Island. They live a mostly normal life, until one night, Robert is possessed by Diamond Eyes and tries to end his children's lives. Seth Smiles, Matthew J. Smiles, and Claire J. Smiles. Diamond Eyes is the main antagonist of the story and has been terrorizing and killing the past residents of the island. Robert comes to his senses just in time, and he decides to end himself to stop the possession, and the house blows up because the boiler was unstable. The children are then taken under the care of Dan Stickman, and they live in his diner. The time is now 2013, and the children find out that Dan is hiding something from them. Flamingo is then taken by Diamond Eyes and told he must end the entire family's lives, just so he can get his old Roblox girlfriend from 10 years back. When it's time for Flamingo to end the family, he refuses, and Diamond Eyes makes the children disappear into his staff. Diamond Eyes then tries to possess Flamingo, but he breaks the staff. In the chaos, Matthew is killed. After Matthew dies, Seth lets his emotions take over and fails to kill Diamond Eyes, causing Diamond Eyes to fully possess Flamingo. Right before Flamingo proceeds, the creator of the universe, the gorilla, comes in to stop and sacrifice himself to kill Diamond Eyes. The story ends with Seth and Claire watching the sunset, with the ghosts of the deceased family members behind them. After the end of the story, the Smiles family was retired, until in 2022, when Dan's Diner received a complete revamp and KreekCraft also learned about the myth. In 2023, a new game titled Night Watch was released and teased the return of the myth. Speaking of Night Watch, we actually talked about Night Watcher, which was a Roblox legend created by KreekCraft. If you want to check out a video where we talked about all the Roblox hacking incidents, please be sure to check it out after watching this video. Bloxwatch is a myth, but also a Roblox urban legend. It's said to be a group of notorious hackers and started to get traction after John Doe. The legend states white glowing eyes will appear in the dark corners of any Roblox game, and getting too close to them will cause your Roblox account to get instantly hacked. This was generally what Bloxwatch was, until it gained more recognition and became an entirely different thing. In this newer version of Bloxwatch, white eyes are seen as a warning, and red eyes will mean that the player is about to get IP banned from Roblox. IP ban means that they can't log into Roblox on any device with that IP or internet. Bloxwatch became so popular that a YouTuber named Oblivious HD, known for making films such as The Last Guest, made part 1 of a Bloxwatch movie. Though the other parts were unfortunately never made, the video still garnered 10 million views. The history of Bloxwatch starts all the way back in June 2017, and inside the Roblox game Roblox High School. It starts off with a conversation of two players in the game talking about glowing eyes that they spotted, and suddenly the messages were interrupted. The players' accounts were also terminated off the website, with the cause being because they saw the Bloxwatch eyes. The message logs were saved by someone, and they told other Roblox players that the eyes were mostly seen in popular Roblox games, claiming they saw them at work at a pizza place. There are many rumors about seeing the Bloxwatch eyes, even rumors saying they were seen all the way back in 2006. There were also many accounts and groups created and named after Bloxwatch. The legend was also covered by many YouTubers making videos claiming to have seen the eyes in game, like Inquisitor Master. Bloxwatch was rumored to be targeting all of the popular YouTubers. This includes Flamingo, KreekCraft, Dennis Daily, Sketch, and Inquisitor Master. This was the peak of Bloxwatch's popularity. Bloxwatch for a while was like the new version of John Doe. Bloxwatch didn't start to decline in popularity until people started debunking it. A lot of players didn't believe the rumors, and started looking into them and found out most of them were false. KreekCraft even made a video exposing and debunking Bloxwatch. Everything that made Bloxwatch scary was being debunked. For example, people talked about the glowing eyes that would IP ban anyone, but the question was, who really saw them? They weren't real, just circles that could be drawn in any image editing app and edited to make them look real. Even for the two players whose accounts were supposedly terminated off the website, they weren't actually terminated, as you can look up their accounts today. Ironically enough, they both have comical words like lol and troll in their usernames, brolol92 and justintroll62664. Despite the newer versions of Bloxwatch being debunked, technically the original myth is still a mystery as there's no way to prove or debunk it. Grocery Gang, created on June 4th, 2019, originally started as a meme myth created to parody popular stores and was created by Amazook. In early 2019, however, the myth became more of an actual myth, not as dark as the other ones. It pioneered the term kindergarten myth. A kindergarten myth is a myth where the characters act childlike, often speaking in broken English and all caps. The myth spiked popularity when Flamingo made a series on it. Grocery Gang never had a complete story as the group had a lot of controversy. On January 6, 2020, 12 members left Grocery Gang, and important members such as FiddlePat and 1_AD had created their own groups. FiddlePat has actually retired from making myths completely. On April 6, 2020, the Subway was kicked out of the group for drama and damaging Grocery Gang's image. On September 26, 2020, the Discord server was nuked, meaning almost everything in the server was destroyed. This caused even more Grocery Gang members to leave. With everything that had gone wrong in just the last year, 74J announced Grocery Gang would retire. There weren't any members left and they no longer had the motivation to continue the myth. A comeback was attempted on February 24, 2021, with 74J announcing on Twitter that Grocery Gang would come back and quote-unquote hopefully do things better. Unfortunately, on April 20th, 2022, the Grocery Gang officially retired and the group was made public. Yeah, it's officially retired this time, for sure. So anyway, another attempt was made on March 25th, 2022. When 74J announced Grocery Gang Rewritten, Grocery Gang Rewritten would have an entirely different story. But Grocery Gang had terrible luck because it was put on indefinite hiatus due to 74J being locked out of the group. And now, for the final time, for real this time, 100% positive this time, on April 20th, 2022, 74J announced Grocery Gang would no longer be coming back. Also, about the Grocery Gang Rewritten group, don't even bother to look this up. Every single member has been removed and it's been renamed to Galvin. The description also says, don't bother with this group. Going on the wiki shows the exact date every single member of the Grocery Gang left the group. Almost every game affiliated with Grocery Gang has also been made private. The only way to view the entire Grocery Gang story, at least before it all went crashing down, is through Flamingo's series. The downfall of the Grocery Gang is one of the most unfortunate situations in the myth community, especially for a myth as popular as the Grocery Gang. Quite literally everything that could go wrong did go wrong. Cult Family Rebirth was originally called the Cult Family, but the previous owner Chasm never passed the original Martin Cult account or the Cult Family group. Chasm never passed ownership because he got into controversy with younger people and never contacted any of the Cult Family members. So to continue with the myth, Cult Family Rebirth was created on October 1st, 2020. Cult Family Rebirth picks up after the original, so the story goes as follows. On June 19th, 1925, Smith Cult was born and has a brother named Don Cult. Decades later, Smith met a woman named Martha Cult, and they would have a son named Brandon Cult. Brandon would go on to live a normal life in the early 50s and 60s. During this time, Don was sent to fight in the 1950 Korean War, and still had military roles after. Smith worked an average job and took care of David as a request from the Hickox family. During the 60s, Smith checked himself into a mental hospital due to his mental health crisis, though the hospital released him even though he still wasn't mentally stable. In 1961, Smith started hearing voices telling him to begin his trials and start a new life. Picture frames and crosses fell from the wall and the lights kept flickering. This caused Smith to make a deal with the devil and bring forth the Cult Family tome. This would start the early events of the Cult Family. Smith brought his family, his wife's family, and friends to hunt down sinners. Smith's mental state got even worse and he ended his wife Martha, causing his son Brandon to run away and the family fell apart. Smith was later killed in a shootout with the police along with his brother Don. After Smith passed away, Martin Cult became the new leader of the Cult Family. Not much is known about what happened during Martin's leadership and he passed away, mainly because Chasm was in charge of his account and now cut out of the lore. Martin was ended by David in self-defense because he was possessed and tried to end David and Emmett. With the deaths of Smith and Martin, David became the new leader. On September 12, 1981, the Cult family moved to a manor in upstate Louisiana, and it is considered the homestead. Since David became the leader, the Cult family became more religious. This is due to Martin being possessed earlier. Some members live in the manor, while others live in their own residences. The Cult family's interpretation of Christianity is very violent and cult-like, even though David never had a cult-like personality. The Cult family wanted sinners to be unalived and hired Calm Cult to dispose of the bodies. These cult activities made the police suspicious and they once raided the manor. Later, on Nick's birthday, he was brought into the family but didn't feel safe or happy. He was told he had to earn his place and was forced to clean up the bodies of the sinners. Nick then told David he was leaving the family and went on his own. After Nick left, David asked where Will was and Will gave him some information on Nick's location. The Cult family then discussed how to deal with Nick. Gathering of Followers was a group created by Lord Beelzebub, at the time known as He Who Should Not Be Named, which is ironic since he's actually not a great person. The myth became very popular, but the story was never properly found out, and on January 27, 2022, the group officially closed. The exact creation date of Gathering of Followers is uncertain, but it was sometime in late 2018 to early 2019. The gathering of followers was meant to be the Lord's quote-unquote kingdom, made up of many followers, servants, and close allies. The myth became extremely popular in 2020 when Flamingo made a video covering it. Their main game, the castle, became a very popular hangout spot for the myth community, as well as myth-related events. The group was also popular for having many famous members of the myth community as its members. The castle was originally created under Lord's profile, but was revamped and made to be under the group instead. The original castle still exists though, now titled the Old Castle. On September 13, 2020, Lord announced that he was retiring from the myth community and planned to go work on other separate projects. Something about 2020 just seemed to make it a really bad year for everything myth related. Lord hosted a vote to decide who should be the new leader of the gathering of followers, and Denzel Rogers won the vote. The group started declining in popularity and got worse when Flamingo left the group. On June 21, 2021, Lord was cancelled for being a dog groomer and not so cool person when it comes to younger people, because apparently being attracted to younger people is a very common trait in the Roblox community. Following the cancellation of Lord, Denzel created a new group on August 16, 2021, and it was called G0Z Citadel. I really hope I pronounced that correctly. The original Gathering of Followers group was completely abandoned and all operations were transferred to G0Z Citadel. Because the actual group couldn't be deleted, a placeholder account named Skinny Icon Megan gained ownership, and all 33,000 members were removed. The only thing on the group now is a shout saying the group is dead and will never be revived. Unfortunately, the castle wasn't transferred to the new group, and when a new game was created, it was closed down after only a couple of weeks. On May 7, 2023, Denzel announced he was retiring from the myth and was going to be working on his own original group, the Kirchi family. G0Z Citadel was then placed in the ownership of Guardian Max, and no signs of activity have been shown since. The myth now remains as one of the many myths in the community that are retired due to unfortunate circumstances. Mental Assistance Department was founded by iPiprix, Bart Montgomery, and Enric Graves on December 30th, 2018. All of these games associated with Mental Health Assistance Department were revamped in June 2020. The purpose of this myth was to find a cure for human mortality through various different experiments, and even after failed experiments, the doctors continued their research. They are determined to find the ultimate cure, even if it means they could go mad. Mental Assistance Department begins with Dr. Ipiprix, a man interested in making humans immortal and its insane potential. After graduating from the University of Georgia, he became a doctor with a degree in medicine. This is also where he met Bar and Enric. They all shared a common interest in the idea of immortality. They all worked together to found the Mental Assistance Department. It was advertised as a medical building, based on psychology and providing therapy to patients, but this was a cover-up for the Mortality Advancement Division. The first 3 cures were all unsuccessful, and the doctors were going nowhere until Bart discovered the location of Nephilim, immortal beings. Ipiprix assumed they would be critical in curing mortality. The 3 doctors went on an expedition to the desert to find Immortius, the last Nephilim. After finding him, they stole his eye because they were convinced his immortality comes from his blood. They used his eye to make cure number 4, but it was still unsuccessful and they burned the patient. After 43 unsuccessful cures, Ipiprix went to the Mountains of Madness, where he discovered Mindwalkers, who are robotic, spider-like entities. They can extract happy memories from their victims and store them as a colored liquid. Ipiprix was attacked and killed by a Mindwalker, and it puts a Mindwalker in Ipiprix's body pretending to be a human. This led to cure number 49. The Mindwalker abilities were tested on True Faces, aka Drew, who wanted help after his girlfriend passed away in a car accident. He took the cure, but it split his mind and he became a shell. He was temporarily happy but quickly became depressed. The side effects were concerning to Bart, who recommended the cure to be discontinued, but Ipiprix killed him and said he went on vacation. Graves went to the Mountains of Madness, suspecting something happened to change Ipiprix, but was killed by the Mindwalkers. After these events, Cecil Montgomery, son of Dr. Montgomery, explored the Mental Advancement Division and was attacked by patients of cure number 43, a cure that gave the patient a strong physique and turned their skin to stone. Only something with a strong mind could overcome the side effect of turning brain dead. While cornered, Cecil drank the cure and escaped by walking through a stone wall. He had a strong mind, so he was able to retain his sanity and counteract with the side effects. This concludes the prologue of the myth. Everything after this is when the player finds the department. G0Z The Clown is one of the most classic and largest myths on Roblox. He first gained traction all the way back in 2014. His game The Circus in the Sky is one of the most visited myth games on Roblox with 5.6 million visits, even making it to the front page once. G0Z is also the original founder of Collaboration before he gave it to Mulberries. G0Z has been around for most of the myth community, being insanely popular during the golden age of myths, and even being the first myth to have its own webcomic. G0Z's account was created on August 9th, 2012. He started getting into the myth community in early 2014 when he made games that were macabre and mysterious. They often depicted deceased bodies of people who were in the place, and this garnered the attention of myth hunters, which helped the games get more traction. Before the golden age of myths, G0Z had cemented himself as one of the most well-known myths in the early myth genre. There was even a legend that players would join his games and end up seeing a corpse version of themselves in a later update. If the player kept playing, they would get an invitation from G0Z about an appointment, and if they showed up, their account would vanish and the avatar would be a corpse. YouTubers like Flamingo covered his games in 2018, and he exploded in popularity. This then motivated him to create his biggest game, The Circus in the Sky, which would garner millions of visits and countless YouTubers' attention. He also had a YouTube channel where he would make videos on Roblox gameplays and occasional mental health updates. He has since stopped uploading on the channel, but plans to turn the channel into a group channel for all the members of the circus myth. G0Z's childhood myth story actually starts before he was born. His parents were expecting a baby girl, so they named him Annie, but were shocked and disappointed when they realized G0Z was actually a boy. He was born with an extra finger on his right hand, which caused his mother to call him a freak. A month later, G0Z was let go by his parents and tried again with their next child. He then became a problem for the church, who decided to leave him on the front step until he was found by Sigmund. Sigmund gave him to Father Sandus and he would take care of him. Sandus sold G0Z to Sunny Children's Foundation and called him a freak without any value. The mental and physical trauma G0Z suffered caused him and Sigmund to escape. Sigmund now made it his mission to take care of G0Z. Rust010 was one of the most popular myths Flamingo covered. He created his account on July 28, 2017 and didn't get popular until 2018. Rust really started gaining traction when he made the first game about his myth, titled Rust. Flamingo played the game because a comment on his video recommended it. 4 days after playing the game, Flamingo would make a second video on it that focused entirely on Rust and the games he created. It resulted in an extremely popular series of 16 videos all focused on Rust and his games. These videos greatly boosted Rust's popularity, and he became an iconic myth in both the myth and Flamingo community. Rust was the first myth that Flamingo made a full series on, so it holds a special place in the community. In March 2019, Flamingo made his final video on the myth, and after the video, Rust went on a hiatus. In May 2020, Rust officially retired his myth after assets from his games were leaked and made accessible for everyone. In 2021, Rust created a YouTube channel and uploaded his first video, the Roblox Town Experience. This video was a shock to most of his fans as it was completely different from the myth video he created. It was a comedic Roblox video about the game Be Dead Forever simulator. Rust would continue making videos with none of them being about his myth, until in July 2023, he uploaded the video explaining my Rust010 Roblox games. He basically broke down the behind the scenes of all the games and showed exactly how he did everything. He exposed his myth, saying there was never an actual story to it. None of his games were really that connected. People just assumed so and he went with it. But since it never had an actual story, he never really took it anywhere. After this video, he went back to making regular content unrelated to the myth. Back when Rust was making games and working on his myth, there were a couple of controversies. Some people in the myth community caught on to how there was little to no story, and they claimed his games weren't actually myth games, but instead horror games. The quality of his games was also highly criticized, and they claimed he didn't deserve the amount of fame he was getting, since he only became popular because of Flamingo. This controversy caused a lot of myth hunters to not investigate his games, but Flamingo's fans ignored the controversy and sought to find any hidden secrets in the games. Now that everything is in the past, the myth community has learned to formally accept Rust as a myth, and he has since become iconic. If you like this video, you will definitely love our video on psychological horror games explained. If anything was missed, please let us know in the comments. And also don't forget to hit that subscribe button because we post videos like this every single week. Alright, we'll see you guys in the next one.